Oh, well, 'cause AFTV, Julian, oh, fucking hell. 2-2 to Wolves at Molineux.
It's not 2-2 Wolves. It's 2-2.
Right, do you know, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it wasn't a loss.
But does it really, today, really feels like it was.
It does.
Oh.
It does feel like a loss. And there's been a lot of negativity before me.
Correct.
And I think
I think it's justified in most cases.
I think it's very justified on tonight. When you look at it, Arsenal top of the league, Wolves at the bottom, and you would expect Arsenal to come here and win quite handsomely.
Yeah.
And after the first few minutes, you would have thought that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I have to say that this game, when I looked at it, I was quite nervous before the Brentford game, as I think a lot of people were, and I was probably more nervous before this game.
More nerves before this game.
Yes.
Even with the like, at home they cause us problems, but you really think this would have been not a formality, but we did say on the car on the way up here it's not going to be a mauling of Wolves. It's going to be difficult, but I didn't expect to come out of it with a 1 point.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons, or there's a few reasons why I felt this game was going to be challenging.
Go on.
And the first one was Arsenal's current form, which again you saw at Brentford. And weirdly enough, after the Wigan game, I felt that wasn't a good performance, and I saw a lot of issues coming after the Wigan game.
Even the 4-0 win?
Yeah, because what happened on the 4-0 win is I didn't think the Wigan players were that bad, but after half an hour you think they're absolutely useless. But they weren't useless, but their manager, who was recently into the job, actually gave Arsenal room. And they played appallingly from a strategic point of view, gave Arsenal room, and Arsenal exploited that room. Now, the moment that they caught on, which was too late for Wigan in that particular game, and they went back into Arsenal's kryptonite, the low block, Arsenal couldn't cope with that. They didn't score any more goals.
But so, Wolves didn't do that tonight, though.
They didn't. But the point I'm making was that the current form at the moment,
it
isn't great.
Okay.
And I don't want this taken out of context, but Wolves' form at the moment, and they've been terrible from a form perspective during the season, but they're actually in their best form of the season. The fact they haven't been beaten by too many and they've drawn a few games, they've even won a game. So
one game, but that does not excuse the top of the league champions elect coming here and dropping points.
No, it doesn't excuse it. But the point is, if you got to play Wolves at some point during the season, I felt this was probably one of the worst times. The other thing, there's no pressure on Wolves. Unfortunately, they're down.
I love that you're trying to find daylight in this performance.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm trying to look at the reasons why it was so poor. I'm not trying to justify it. I'm trying to, instead of getting angry and it's all over and shouting and screaming and using bad language like a few other people have, then I would like to go into it in a little bit more of an eloquent way and analyse it and try and kind of uncover the reasons for it. So And that is a case in point. You know, I'm not here to abuse them. I'm here to try and delve into the reasons why.
Right.
And the first reason was Arsenal's form is poor.
Yeah,
the second reason is Wolves are actually on a relative high.
Okay.
The other reason is, you know, Wolves don't have any pressure on them. Arsenal do have pressure. Sometimes it works in your favour, sometimes it does. And the other thing, and I know it's going to be criticised, we've talked about it before, but I looked at the weather report. You had gusts. No, this is actually what we're experiencing.
Yep.
There was wind gusts up to 36 miles an hour, and it was a swirling wind. Now,
for both teams.
For both teams.
We were 2-0 up.
We were 2-0 up, but that is a leveller. Now, here's another criticism of Arsenal, another negative, is when you play in those weather conditions, you also have to adapt. When you adapt, you need to adapt to the team you're playing, but you also need to adapt to the environment you're playing in. And Arsenal didn't adapt. And one of the things I thought of as I watched that game is if you take long shots in this weather, which Arsenal didn't do, they played their short passing game, and it doesn't work as well in this weather. Take a few long shots. I don't remember any long shots at all. So there are the negatives. So we've got the negatives out of the way, and we've analysed the reasons.
You might get a call from the Arsenal analysts and sports scientists to get a job.
Well, I hope so. I could be. I do have a few jobs at the moment, but I would be available for Arsenal in a few different capacities.
Okay.
Positives.
You said that's all the negatives.
So the negatives, are on the night.
Okay.
You know, the negatives are on the night. I'm not going to come here and start saying what a wonderful performance it was and we were unlucky to
untrue.
draw the game, because it's untrue. On the night, we got what we deserved, which was a point at the bottom club. But take it away from that, there's 38 games in a league season. And if fans are going to be that spineless that after a couple of poor performances, when we're still in the Champions League, we're still in the FA Cup, we're in the final of the League Cup, and we're still...
For now.
Well, at the moment, at current, we're still top of the league, we're still 5 points at the top of the league, and it's still in our hands. And if they're going to be that spineless and they're going to be that angry, then I can't relate to that, because there's two different ways to win the league that I've seen in my lifetime. And I've seen Arsenal win the league a few times. The first one I can relate to was in, I think it was 1991. When we walked the league, and that it wasn't a double. It wasn't a double. It was the Jules Graham, and we walked the league, and it was great. It was okay. A little bit of an anticlimax. The other one, which will always live with me and made me the person who I am, and I look back at that, and there was so much misery, so much anger. There wasn't social media. There wasn't even mobile phones. I don't even remember there being internet. But there was anger and there was despondency. And I was like that. But that's when you get the greatest joy, is when you're so down and you're on your knees and you're you think everything's over, and then suddenly you see this glimmer of light. That's when you can really embrace it. And what is the glimmer of light that's coming?
Let's hope we end with trophies.
No, what's the glimmer of light on the horizon? Tottenham is our saviour.
Travelling to away games has never been easier, especially with Rocket Mobile.
Unlimited data, unlimited everything in the UK. When you leave the UK, it's 20 gig of roaming data. Life is very easy.
£16 a month, no hassle.
How you doing?
You're doing all right? And this is what you get in Europe.
Hello. Tony Adams!
Thank you so much.
Lee, you're the man.